Funding for Joey Bark is provided by YouTube monetization, given that I don't use any copyrighted music in this video, which I just did. Anyway, another week, another Disney live-action remake, and this time you could experience the disappointment from the comfort of your own home. Now, ignoring the fact that the lead actress is a card-carrying member of the Chinese Communist Party, this movie's biggest problem is that they cut Mushu. Why would they do that? Here, Disney is sending a deliberate direct message that they don't think the Animal Sidekick is important enough to put in the movie. And this isn't the first time they've done this. In last year's Aladdin remake, they took away Iago's ability to talk, so he's just a normal bird.
If you would let me be in the remake, maybe this would have gotten more than a 57% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mushu is Mulan's animal sidekick. Now every Disney princess has an animal sidekick. What do? Well, they provide comic relief and sell toys, which might as well be Disney's motto at this point. So simply cutting them out should have no effect on the movie, right?
Absolutely
wrong.
True.
Let's talk about the main character for a second.
I always thought I might be bad, now I'm sure that
The opening scene of a Disney princess movie is extremely important because it introduces the audience to the main character. Now you want to get the audience to fall in love with the main character, to relate to them, to care about them enough to dress up like them for Halloween. And if you don't introduce your main character in a way that's convincing, you're gonna get burned.
So I need to stay warm in this very cold weather, and Jyn Erso is gonna provide that warmth for me.
'cause I think you're so good, yet I'm nothing like you. Look.
The best way to display a character's personality is to have them interact with others. We can follow our main character around and watch them talk with people throughout the day, but that takes a long time, and in kids' movies, you don't have a long time. So they give their main characters one friend to bounce off of, thus displaying their personality to the audience. For example, in Diary of a Wimpy Kid, we see who Greg truly is not through his own narration, but through his interactions with his best friend Rowley. But Rowley is a human, I think, and I bet you can't name one Disney princess that starts their movie out with a human friend. Why is it always an animal?
Sometimes it pays to be an animal, sometimes.
Well, think about it. If the best friend character was a human, they would need their own development, which would take attention away from the main character, and more importantly, eat up time in the movie. A lot of these things are under 90 minutes long. Do you think they're going to be spending their precious time developing a human side character? You have a lot to learn about filmmaking, my friend. Now it is worth noting that instead of developing only one character, movies like Frozen and Monsters, Inc. choose to develop the relationship between two characters instead. We don't know a lot about Elsa and Anna or Mike and Sully as individuals, but we know a lot about the relationship between them and how they bounce off of each other, how they foil each other, as we say in the business. But if your movie only has one main character, as most Disney princess movies do, then an animal sidekick is the way to go. Also, they do sell a lot of toys. But not all animal sidekicks are created equal. So let's look at what makes
We're best friends and this is the friend dance. We're best friends and this is the friend dance.
one-dimensional characters are usually very, very bad. I mean, look what they did to Rogue One. But for an animal sidekick, being one-dimensional is actually a good thing. Some of the best animal sidekicks can have their entire personalities summed up in just one word. Loud, fierce, curious, clever, angry, stupid, rough, nervous, fat, sneaky.
Donkey!
As you can see with these beloved characters, one dimension is more than enough. Animal sidekicks don't even have to be animals. They can be goblins, or robots, or really dumb humans. But what about snowmen? Now back when I mentioned Frozen, I'm sure you were yelling at your screens, Joey Olaf is an animal sidekick! But he isn't. Well, he was, until he received more character development in Frozen 2 and became a main character. See, he is what we call a
I just adore you, I wish that I knew.
It's not uncommon to see a sidekick become a main character as their saga progresses. Their characters are usually fleshed out more, given a backstory, able to express a wider range of emotions than they were before. In short, they are made three-dimensional. Main characters. Characters in this category include Dory, who got her own movie where she is the main character. Chewbacca. People forget that Chewbacca was just Han's animal sidekick in the first Star Wars movie. When Han dies, it's up to him to mentor the new characters. In the movie Solo, we learn about his backstory, and he ends up being the only character from the original trilogy to survive to the end of Episode 9. Jarvis goes from being Tony Stark's robot assistant to having his own body. I guess that's why they cast Paul Bettany all those years ago. Even Dwight Schrute, who starts off the series as Michael's goofball assistant, becomes the main character of the show by season 9. Tow Mater becomes a spy? Am I reading that right? Okay, well, it's development. So there are one-dimensional sidekicks, and there are three-dimensional sidekicks, but between those 2 points, there is a Goldilocks zone. Here you will find the characters in this category are truly special. They aren't fully developed and they don't upstage the main character, but they aren't one-dimensional either. They're realistic enough to be relatable, but not enough to be boring. These characters are always the fan favorites. Some examples include Baby Yoda, Tinkerbell, Bert, and Mushu. And Mushu especially, he brings such a... Here, let me put it this way. You can't have The Mandalorian without Baby Yoda. You can't have Peter Pan without Tinkerbell. You can't have Mary Poppins without Bert. And you can't have Mulan without her animal sidekick, Mushu.